package has arrived and it's been thoroughly inspected by the U.S. Postal Service. It's already freaking opened. And I didn't open it. Unbelievable. This could have been missing and never delivered. Anyway, what is it? I guess nobody wanted a Chinese flashlight. So it's the same packaging as when this one comes from Amazon. So this one is a XHP 160. XHP 160. I think there's a common diameter there. This one's a little different in the body, so let's check it out. I'm going to show you to a generic eBay search, Amazon search. Basically, with these things, just find the best price because they range anywhere from $20 to $100. So you do your own shopping. So here's a generic search result for the Super Bright XHP 160 16-core LED flashlight, USB rechargeable zoom torch spotlight. So there are several different options here. We have the, of course, the XHP 160 16-core, and you get several different packages. So my current package is the JF008. It is the single cell, no battery option. So this current one is $42.99 from Wanhang_2019. And of course, it's going to be coming from China through SpeedPack. So it'll take several weeks to get here. So this is the generic pictures that they all provide for these particular torches. Of course, some are the single cell and some are the dual cell. And it is the zoomable, so you can go from spotlight to floodlight, and it has the very aggressive strike bezel here, as you can see here, and it's got another bezel on the backside, the tail end of the flashlight, for smashing through glass. And it's preferred not to use the strike bezel to break glass on your escape attempt, because generally it is very difficult to smash through certain safety glass side windows on particular vehicles. It is a lot more effective to use a single point and use steady pressure to break the glass, because when you strike glass, the tendency is that the glass has a tendency to implode toward impact, so it would shatter on you. So it's preferred not to do that. But when you're in the escape and panic situation, you will be doing anything you can do to escape. But if you can maintain some kind of composure and use just that single point there and apply steady pressure to the glass, it will shatter glass, and then you can go ahead and very carefully use the rest of the torch to break away the glass. And you'll be less likely to be injured instead of trying to smash your way out. So that's it for this little segment. We will now continue with the video already in progress. So there you go. So this one comes with a little accessory bag and a lanyard or paracord in case you need to swing from the cliffs. trying to escape Murdoch. And we got the USB-A to USB-C. I like that kind. And we got the flashlight itself. In a box. So this little guy is just about almost the same as this one, except for a few subtle differences. The only thing that's really the same is it's a Jamiefire, so come from the same factory. This one's a little different. It's got a little bit more aggressive strike bezel. So if you can see how aggressive that is. Whoa. So apparently something got changed. That's better. See how aggressive that is? Look how aggressive that is compared to this one. Here's the other strike bezel. And then this guy here. Look at that sucker. Wow, that would hurt. You get struck with that, whew, you're bleeding. And it's got the same ED in it. It's got the same 160 ED in it. Same one. Just like this one, it's got the same ED because, that's just the way China is. So we'll put these two together. See if I can focus in on them too. Focus. You can kind of see it. So this is a Zoomy, and this one has a little bit nicer head on it. Of course, I took it out of the box just now, so it's got a nicer head. Unlike this one, where it had a floppy cock, but I since fixed that with a new O-ring. So this one's got a little bit nicer out of the box. Zoomy head. And it's got a one button does all, high, medium, low, and strobe. I hate strobe on flashlights. I think they're useless. And of course it comes with a little carrying. You put your lanyard on a key ring here. So you can have have it around your wrist, so when you go oh shit, and you don't drop it in the cliff, off the cliff, or in a crevice. So you're good in that department. And on the back here, it has a little threaded insert for the accessory in the bag. So in here, you get a spare split ring. You get a couple of spare O-rings. And you get this little orange cap to protect your accessory that you screw in the back. So we'll put the little protector on, screw the accessory in the back. Make sure it's tight so it don't fall out. And this little guy, which is very pointy and very sharp, this little guy, see if I can zoom in or focus a little better. See how nice that is? Nice sharp point. And that is what you use to break glass. So if you're trapped inside your automobile and you can't get out, instead of trying to smash your way out, which you can do, you smash your way out if you want to. Of course, most likely you will, because you're in a panic situation. That will happen. And you can smash, and then meanwhile you can slice your arm to death too. So there you go. Because if you cut there, you don't have long to live. So it comes with this nice little point. And instead of smashing the glass, just push. Put steady pressure. Glass will shatter very easily. No problem with that. So it comes with a strike bezel so you can defend yourself, because that's what it's intended for. And then you got the glass breaking point here. And then you got the little cover so you don't scratch everything with this thing, because it is carbide, so you will scratch anything. And other features is this one also is a power bank. So you got your USB-A and USB-C to charge it. And conveniently, I didn't buy this one with battery because I'm going to supply my own batteries, which are good, not junk. So you put, it comes with a little insert for 18650s. But I bought this for 26650s. So we'll stick a 26650 in there. And this is a crappy one. This is one of them no brain, no name, wannabe 5 amp hours, and they're only 2500 milliamp hours. So just stick that in there. Screw back together. And then here's your main button. So it's high, medium, low, and then you get the silly strobe. And then SOS. So what's nice about this particular one is that if you got it on high or any other medium, low, you can turn it off if you just push and hold the switch. So you don't have to go through every single setting. Which is nice, because this one don't have that. So, you know, each one is a little different. Because if you turn this one on and then push and hold, it just goes to the next setting, which is kind of annoying, you know, if you just want on or off. So you got to go through the 3 different modes to go it off. And this one remembers where you were last. So if you were on high, you will always be on high. If you were on medium, you will always be on medium. So if you were to turn it off and then turn it back on, oh, that's nice. It goes back to the default. So that's even better. So kind of annoying that it don't remember where you were last, but that's okay. So we'll see if this one's got the annoying grid pattern. So I'll move over here. Oh yeah, it's got that annoying grid pattern. So they're all the same. Anything with an XHP 160, it's all got the pretty much the same LED. Just like this one. So if you put this one on zoom and point it at the wall, you can see the checkerboard pattern. So I don't need just another flashlight to have around, because I got plenty of them around. So I bought this to play with it. So my intentions is to take the LED out of here and put a real LED in here, a Cree, and it's going to be a 70.2. So if you were to look up Cree 70.2s, you're going to see that there's 6 volts. And they're also a 12 volt, depending on how you wire it, which I just recently discovered that Crees 70.2s are a 6 and a 12 volt LED. So depending on how you wire your or how you get your LED star heatsink pad, whether it's 6 volt or 12 volt, that's how you power an LED, which is kind of cool. And then I got a 70.3, which is a dedicated 12 volt. So maybe someday I'll find a use for it. But my intention is to take this, put a real LED in it, and then pump it up to 6 volt off of a single cell battery. Because I just recently found a driver that's coming across the pond that does such a thing. So this thing, it's just going to get a straight up Cree 50.2 to make this one kick-ass light, because it has a side light and also got the power bank in there. This one's got the power bank in it too. So, you know, if you stick a 5 amp hour battery in there, you might get about 4 amp hours because you're boosting the electricity. So to get a baseline, which I don't have my tool yet, my lux meter tube, I haven't built it yet, so I don't have a number yet, but I will. But what I can do is take an amperage reading of these things, because I haven't done that even with the other one. I don't know how many amps it takes. So since it's this is a low voltage high amperage type scenario here, you got to use a amp clamp, because you can use a digital multimeter, but the circuitry inside affects your reading. So you got to use a jumper wire and an amp clamp, a DC amp clamp. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to take this tail cap off. Put it off to the side. And then I'm going to power this up to amperage. And then put it on DC. And then I'll go ahead and I'll have to do this in such a manner where I'll have to turn this on, put the amp clamp over it, then push hold, and then you can see this guy. You gonna focus on that? That's better. Turn the backlight on for you. Oh, I screwed that up. It was about 5 amps, a little over 5 amps for this this particular light. .6. That's quite a bit of amperage out of a single cell. That's not bad. That tells me that this thing's got some capability in it. Because usually a Cree, I don't think they draw that much amperage out of the hole. I think the Cree 70.2s are a little, I think they're 3, maybe 6 amps at most. So let's see what this sucker is, because I haven't tested this one out yet. And I should do another amperage test with a real battery instead of these wannabes, because this one that came with this one says 5 amp hour. It turned out to be 3780, so it's a little short. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll put a real battery in it. So what's a real battery? So far, a real battery is an eFast. So these are 5 amp hours. And this is what they look like. They're purple. And it says eFast. And these are 5 amp hours, but they turned out to be about 5,500, which was awesome. So we'll go back to the first one that we just opened. We'll see what that is. The tough part is getting a good connection. So with a real battery, almost 10 amps. Wow. So 6, 7 amps to 10 amps, that's quite a bit. That just shows you what a good battery can do instead of the garbage. So that just shows you that battery, these cheap junk wannabe batteries, are high in resistance. They ain't got the gonads to give you the amperage. So that's, hope you learned a lesson. Don't buy cheap junk batteries because you won't get the full performance of your flashlights, especially if you got these high power ones, or even the wannabe high powered ones. So we'll see what the my first one that I got is. And the first one, 11 amps. And that's, cold for startup. As the things warm up, they go down in amperage. And that's just the way these, and that's all of them. All LED flashlights are all the same animal. They start out strong and then they reduce in amperage and lux. It's not a bad thing, it's just the way they are. So we got a baseline for amperage. I don't have a baseline yet to measure the lux. I will shortly. So my intentions is to take this apart. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And they all come apart about the same, all the same. Like this one, you take the strike bezel off, and then everything else, you got a couple of rings you got to take out, and the barrel unscrews and all the other happy horse shit. Same thing with this one. You can take the barrel off, the battery barrel, and then you got an inner ring to take apart to access the driver. because that's the driver right there. That's your input and your driver. So that's that, and that's easy enough to manhandle. So this one, the internal ring, and of course you got to sort of be creative. And these things shouldn't be in very tight because they're China. So any kind of tool that will unscrew that ring. So we'll use a pair of pliers, needle nose, as a pair of snap ring pliers, you might as well say. That's probably what would work best, but I don't have a pair of them. I'll have to get a pair. Yeah, these things just come right apart. It's got nice threads on it, that's for sure, for a China product. Usually they're all grainy and gropply and stuff like that. These are actually nice threads. Weird. You take the lens off. The lens is just a plastic piece of... It's not even real glass, it's just plastic. And then you get a look at what the LED looks like inside. So that's what it looks like. And they're all pretty much the same. Even when I took the other one apart, it looks exactly the same as this one. Because it is the same LED. It's just depending on how they manufactured it. So the LED, it's got its own little internal ring. So we'll see if that one screws easily. So this little internal ring just holds the die amongst the... so we can get good heat transfer. So there's that. For that one, it's just got like a press-in type fit. Now, did they put any kind of compound in it? Probably not. A little bit of compound in the back, so at least they put something in it. Better than nothing. And then to get the strike bezel off, it's got another ring that you can take off. I'll have to get a pair of snap ring pliers to take these off so I don't damage the threads. But this will come right off, and the back part will come right off too. So this part will unscrew that part in there because there's two little, you probably can see them in there. There's two little dots in there. You might be able to see them. Depending on how I hold it. There you go. So you can see them diagonally this way. Get a pair of snap ring pliers in there. That unscrews. So then you can take the strike bezel off. So you can get a little bit easier access to take the die out or unsolder the die. And then you got to, fidget with the wires and stuff like that. This part comes off. So in case you need to take the whole thing out, which I might do. See how the Circuit board is wired because I like to preserve the charging, the internal charging. Not that it matters, but it'd be kind of cool to keep that internal charging and have it as a power bank at the same time. But my intentions is to make this from a 3.7 volt or 3 volt flashlight into a 6 volt flashlight with a real Cree LED. So that'll be an upcoming project. And I have the driver board coming from wherever, because nobody has it around here. So that's one thing I got to do is order a pair of snap ring pliers from Amazon so I can mess with these things. Because you want to do a nice job and not fudge it all up and stuff like that. So it's nice to know that these things come apart easily, because I got a couple of, Phoenixes. I don't think you can take them apart without destroying them, because I would love to upgrade them to a better LED, because there's always new LEDs being made, and it'd be kind of cool to have a better LED to make it brighter. Because the one Phoenix flashlight I have, it's the TK16, and Phoenix just recently, not too long ago, they come out with the TK16 V2, and it's the same thing, except the tip of the bezel is silver, and it's got a better LED in it. So instead of, I think this one's rated at 1,000 lumens when it's on full power. The new one's 3,000 lumens, and it's just another LED in it, a different LED, better one. And then when you got the light on, it also gives you the little green end light. Green for good, red for bad. And then when it starts flashing, you're really bad off. So that's it for this video. Stay tuned and subscribe for other videos of me ripping these apart and ripping this one apart. And I'm still waiting for a third one. That'll be a 2-cell, so it'll be exactly like this one, except it'll be, one more battery taller. So I can, that'll be 8.4 volt, and that will have a, if I can find a 12 volt driver, I'll make it, but I don't think they're efficient enough. Well, there are drivers out there that can take the lower voltage and boost it to a higher voltage, but a lot of them can't carry the amperage. So a 12 volt Cree 70.3, I think draws about 3.5 amps. And a lot of the drivers out there, you're only rated for a couple hundred milliamps, maybe one, maybe amp and a half, 1,500 milliamps capability. So trying to drive a badass Cree at whatever amperage, it's not going to be very happy. It'd probably burn out the driver board and stuff like that. So more than likely, I'll get a buck driver that'll take the 8.4 and drive a real Cree LED and make these little shit show China Pride flashlights one kick-ass flashlight. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.